Drake is out here collecting ops like infinity stones. He said, ops like Lays, you just can't have one. And I'm going to keep it tall. When you find yourself in a back and forth with T-Pain, something's wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, T-Pain says something to Drake. Drake responded, and it's about retiring from music. So, you got one more day to get the They Not Like Us t-shirt. Link in the pinned comment, and I will send a personal thank you video to everybody who collects it. You got 24 hours left. Chigs!
YouTube.
What we doing, man?
Chigs.
Shout out to my boy Chigs.
Shout
out to my black brother, my nicer brother.
Hey, Chigs, appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
The boy Drizzy Drake is fed up with everybody criticizing him and his career. Now, if you're Drake, it's hard not to feel like an outsider in hip-hop right now. With what Kendrick did...
I'm sorry, I already paused. I know, whatever. But I'm going to tell you something. Once you get to suing for diss tracks, I will say this every video, every chance I get. You make yourself an outsider. You are literally hurting something in the art of hip-hop, so you literally drew a line there. It's not even that hip-hop threw you out. You threw yourself out. Now, there's going to be people who make the argument that hip-hop definitely threw him out for it, but if you ask me, hip-hop didn't throw him out yet. They didn't respect, the respect level diminished, but the lawsuits is when you're like, yeah, you're not a rapper anymore, bro. You're not a battle rapper. You said you study battle rap. That's a lie. You're none of that stuff. So all that hip-hop stuff goes out the window, and it makes me mad because I wanted to be excited for Drake's next drop. I really did. But it's like, you're going to be talking crazy on it, aren't you? I already know.
What Kendrick did to you last year with Not Like Us, and watching a lot of artists that you helped pretty much go against you, at the very least, you have to be on edge. Now, T-Pain was on a podcast called the Crash Dummies Podcast, and he made a very interesting statement about Drake.
The one thing I learned from Drake, and here's the crazy thing, one thing I learned from Drake, but one thing he hasn't followed his own words. Mm-hmm. Drake said, I want to be one of them people that gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. Yeah. I have ever since said, you really thank y'all. Yeah. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all when I drop. Don't worry about it. I'll just drop something. Yeah. Let me know if you. Hold on. You heard it. Yeah. Drake is like, no, listen. Okay, I got another one. Hold on, check this out. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that one? Okay, real quick. Just one more. Let me try one more. And then he's the person that he said, he didn't want to be. Mm-hmm. And
no, let me not even break up your wisdom. Hold on.
I learned that from him. Like when he said that, I want to gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. I was like, you know what? I'm out this bitch.
This is live shows now.
I'm out this motherfucker. I'm not trying to impress y'all niggas. Y'all niggas don't give a fuck if I live or die. Yeah. Why the fuck would I keep trying to impress y'all niggas?
Question that a lot of these artists gotta ask themselves behind.
I'm gonna keep it all the way solid. That is 110% true. Drake did say that. And if I do remember, if I don't remember that exact quote, I've been listening to Drake his whole career. He said a whole bunch of stuff about that. He's made fun of a lot of older rappers for that same thing. You know what I mean? There's lyrics all throughout his career where he's talking about people not letting off the throne. All I see is the crown, the throne is for the taking. Watch me take it. Talk about the old heads colluding together. He's always done that. And I'm gonna keep it real. T-Pain barring right now. T-Pain barring. That is what happened to Drake. And that is what's happening to Drake. His lack of ability to kind of gracefully bow out is making everything worse for him. The number one thing I feel like that came from this battle that everybody should learn when to concede your loss. And just because you concede a loss does not mean you conceded the war, right? You don't have to concede the war because you concede you lost this battle, right? You can come back later, regroup. But what Drake is doing, and it seemed like this since the battle, since the 100 gigs, it don't seem like he's as calculated. It don't seem like he's as plotted. It seems like they're throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks, and a lot of stuff is not sticking. I'm going to keep it tall. How much nobody cared about that Drake 2 Mazza track is insane. there's been new excuses people like the OVO stands have made for Drake. That as somebody who grew up listening to Drake, and as I was a very, very big Drake fan before this battle and the lawsuits and stuff. This isn't something like, I just lost my train of thought. But basically, as someone who was, as someone who's a Drake fan, there was not a time, I'll put it like this. If during Versace, people would have told you, no, Drake songs, it doesn't matter if Drake's on the song, it matters about the feature, because that's what you're kind of saying now. When Drake jumps on this Two Mazza song and nobody cares, they say it's because Two Mazza. When he jumps on this, the Party Next Door album doesn't perform like his other albums, they say it's because of Party Next Door. When he jumps on a song with Gordo and it doesn't do anything, they blame it on Gordo. But this is new. This is a new thing. It used to be the Drake stimmy was a thing. People used to be like, that was the point. You get on a Drake feature, you're out of here. Now they're doing things like, so you're essentially saying that Two Mazza, it has more of an impact on a song's performance than Drake. And if you concede that point, then something is terribly wrong. Something is terribly wrong. If Drake is at the point where he has to go get somebody else to make him hot, something is terribly wrong. And T-Pain isn't even really dissing Drake as much in this as he's saying, that's why I move the way that I move. And he's dead serious. He even said, even throwing Drake some bail or saying, like, probably understand where Drake is coming from when he says something like, these people don't care if I live or if I die. That's the same thing with Drake. I guarantee you that's how Drake feels. That's the same thing with everybody. Like, these people don't really know you. That's why I don't like getting too involved in people's, like, couples goals. And we don't know these people. I don't know these people. I stick with the stories from this and we go from there and the music. So he's 100% right. And I think that's one of Drake's worst problems. I didn't know if Drake should stop, slow down, or keep dropping till everybody forgets. He should have slowed down. He should have probably disappeared and then came back. Allow people to miss him, but
behind closed doors. When do I shut it down? When do I stop making music? Should I do it on my own terms when I want to? Or is it when you realize that your albums and your music are no longer selling? Watching an artist go from selling 100K plus to now barely selling 10K plus is a sign. No matter how much you love making music, at some point, every artist has to have this conversation with themselves. And it's always interesting watching artists make that transition. We saw Joe Budden go from making music to podcasting, which he's now dominating as a podcaster. Yeah. Now, Drake was not feeling those comments by T-Pain. He responded back on Instagram saying, this guy always had resentment for me. You can hear it every time he speaks on my name.
And even if that's true, all right, Drake, let me talk to you here. Let's assume that is 1,000,000% true because we don't know these relationships or how it works in the industry. Even if that is true, boy, what he's saying is true, is right. In fact, he's quite literally quoting you. He's quite literally quoting you, and I get you're saying he has resentment with what he's saying, but he's not. He's just following your teachings. He's saying what's going on. You're just not accepting that is the reality you live in. I don't think Drake will ever be looked at the way he was looked at Views. That era, that'll never be. Hotline, that'll never. I don't think that'll ever be. Even if he has a successful song, that God's Plan, the way he was looked at, that's forever cooked. I think that's forever cooked. And I think T-Pain is right. Like, T-Pain didn't retire from music. T-Pain just drops music, go and then disappears, does something else. He'd be streaming. He'd be doing. That's why I be telling people, like, I'm a rapper, and I'm a reactor, and I'm a whatever you call it, streamer, content creator, whatever. But I keep telling people, you can't just live in something for too long because then people will, something with music especially or movies or something, people gotta miss you. You know, and the balance of that is hard, and sometimes I don't do it right. Sometimes I know I need to be dropping more music than I do. But what T-Pain is saying, and what you've noticed a lot of artists, if you notice, a lot of artists now have to go to streamers to break their records, to make people care about what they're doing. Whether it's Kai Cenat, whether it's Plaque Max, whether it's whatever. You see that streamers, reactors, YouTubers are getting put in lawsuits. Talking about when Drake put reactors in lawsuits, he admitted that reactors were powerful enough to, or what he was saying, reactors were powerful enough to take down or shift the look of what is quote unquote the biggest artist in the world. So once you say that, you kind of conceding that reactors and streamers and stuff are starting to become that. And I think that you don't need to become a streamer. That's what I'm saying. But just like, let us miss you. You're so omnipresent. People have been sick of Drake for a while. It was the battle that tipped everything over that it's just like,
which then prompted fans to go digging. Like I always tell you guys, the internet does not forget. Drake fans pulled up this article from 2011 that states Drake holds up T-Pain's Revolver album. T-Pain is quoted in the article saying, "I know y'all waiting on the album, but the last thing I need is a verse from Drake and the album is complete. So find Drake and tell him to hurry the hell up and finish the verse." Drake fans also pulled up this article from...
Was that supposed to be him throwing shade at Drake? That didn't sound like resentment. That was bad evidence. That evidence got thrown out in court. What? That wasn't resentment. That wasn't evidence of resentment.
Earlier this year, where T-Pain says Drake's album with Party Next Door sounds like leftovers.
All these trash songs that I recorded, I listen to them all the time. And so here's my thing. I feel like he recorded a bunch of shit. In order to keep Party around, you can...
I legitimately, let me hear this whole
take 10, 15 of these songs, put a verse on the big Party. That's our album, bro. The songs are already recorded. The songs are already recorded. These are all the songs that didn't make my previous albums. Go for it, bro. Put verses on these songs. Yeah, there's 5 to 7 solo Drake songs that didn't make other albums. It's not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that there bad. These are just songs that didn't make albums. Or Party, or the other way around. Or Party came there with an album and was like, "Hey Drake, can you put verses on these particular songs?"
Now, I'll be honest.
I was getting ready for the what? Not only is none of those clips show resentment, it actually almost shows a reverence when he's pushing his entire album back for a Drake feature. And when he's not even saying that he means the songs are bad. He's saying that he sounds, as somebody who's been recording, who's ghost wrote for people, who's made hundreds of records, who's made some of the biggest records in the culture, he probably knows. And here's another thing. I absolutely agree with him and everything he said. That's just it. Sexy Songs for You. Yeah, like, nigga, bro, it was supposed to be a collab tape. It really wasn't. Even when you look at the track, it's like, this is definitely plug and play. Somebody didn't have a hook or somebody didn't have a feature and we put it together and called a compilation album. Isn't Party only like 6 songs? So it's like...
Honest with you guys.
What did he say
I
wrong?
think Drake has definitely had these conversations behind closed doors. Hey, right now I'm 38 years old. When do I want to stop making music? When do I want to...
I'm going to stop right here just so you guys can watch what Chigs' opinion on everything is. Shout out to you. I don't want to... his whole video, so you can go check it out. But yeah, this is a conversation I feel like Drake should have been having. I'm sure Drake is having that conversation. If it's not externally, it's internally. But I also think Drake got caught in the perfect cyclone where his ego will not allow him to concede or step back right now because the optics are so bad. And I think that he thinks the only thing that's keeping it looking like he hasn't taken the biggest L is if he stays outside and stays dropping and stays, but it's not. He's just literally, every time you see Drake's face, it just reminds you of Not Like Us. So it's like, he's damn near promoting it with the talking to the Toronto politician, calling him a good. It's like, yeah, you be promoting this stuff. So it's like, I really do think you should disappear. I think this Iceman record is going to be the most important album in Drake's career to see what the next couple years is going to look like for him. And I'm going to keep it tall. Because even if it does numbers, that doesn't matter. Really doesn't. The cultural impact of that, if that album comes and goes, like a lot of Drake stuff has been doing, like the Nokia, the way it fell off the charts, then it's going to be bad for my guy. And by my guy, I mean this nigga. God, man, I swear to God, if you didn't do these losses, bro, I would be on your side right now. And if you didn't do 90% of the goofy stuff you do, I'd be on your side. Like, yo, y'all got it. But everything TK said, he's right. What are we talking about?